Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jesse, your DM.
Cody playing Lazarus.
Brennan playing Dis.
Mike playing Nim.
Britt playing Kenna.
And we are Double Doubles and Dragons. We're a group of goofy Canadians that have gotten together to play a little D&D. Sometimes we will say things that are inoffensive. We mean them as jokes, of course, and they're certainly funny to us, but some people may find this offensive. If you do, we apologize, but we don't want any hate mail about it. So just don't listen, okay? Let's jump right into the action. All right, welcome back, everybody. Quick recap. We had resolved the portal. It is now gone. In its place, a dirt patch that you guys got stuck in for a few moments. You've come back. Kenna has found the most sadistically adorable tiny little lamb, and everybody is just finishing a long rest.
I'm going to point out during the break there, I also took off Misty Step, and I put on Enlarge Reduce instead. Just so next time someone's like, Nim can't do anything, I enlarge myself, and I'm like, what'd you say? It was a toll in the hole.
Same.
Yeah, I really like how not only does your voice not change, but, I mean, you go from, like, gnome size to just regular person size when you enlarge. So it's like, what'd you say? And you're still probably, like, a foot shorter than...
Now, are gnomish proportions like an average human as far as like actual proportions go? Or are they like...
I imagine them to be so. Otherwise, like, Enlarge Reduce would turn them into some sort of horrible
And that's
monstrosity.
what I'm wondering. If it would
Like,
just be hilarious.
Like the tiniest bit bubble-headed.
I think it depends on, like, what you're looking at in terms of, like, drawings and things that people have done.
Right, but I think halfling of what you're describing.
Halfling definitely is correctly proportioned.
But,
Gnome, I'm not so sure about. You know what? We'll throw it out there. Anybody out there, and I mean anybody, can draw a picture of what they think Nim looks like and send it to us. I promise no judgments. You can make him look however you want.
All the judgment.
Ooh, boy.
Oh yeah, that's right. You need to roll your portents. How'd you roll today?
I rolled one really high.
Master of Divination.
Let's see. This one's going to be even higher or just really low. No. Not too bad. Basically guaranteed succeeds an 18 and a 16.
Yeah, those are pretty solid guaranteed successes.
And I forgot to read my card earlier, and I'm not going to redraw because I like this card. So it's Adriana. I am leading you towards the answer to your prayers. Please listen to and follow the steps I am communicating through intuition, thoughts, and dreams.
That's right, everybody. If you just follow all my clues, you will be just fine.
Your Kilus?
My clues.
Do I dream about Chainmail Guy?
I feel like Dis probably is having Chainmail Guy nightmares these days.
I assume it's just like... I'm like...
Wait, do drows sleep properly, or do they do the elven sleep where they're not really asleep?
They're the elven thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
They
it's
are
more
the elven sleep?
meditation,
Okay, I
but
was
I would
pretty
assume
sure.
like images would flow in at certain points.
Certainly.
Though it's meditation, so I suppose that wouldn't really be what's happening. But I'm assuming like right before, and I would assume it's just like vague dream nightmares of seeing Chainmail Guy giving me that same look I saw way back when I saw him the first time. And it's just from like way far away. And then behind me, everybody's like not looking, and they're all not prepared.
And you're like, no, they don't know.
But I just seem like drawing a weapon.
I don't think it's weird for you to be able to have nightmares. Have you never just been like laying in bed and you're not asleep yet, but you start hallucinating some weird
I saw the
shit?
picture just sitting there and just doing that mental image training where he's just going through every sequence of fight he can possibly imagine against this guy.
No. We are not doing Dragon Ball Z style image fighting. Just
Just
throwing
wasn't
it. There
going
will be
that
no
far.
experience.
I'm like
going
I'm shadow boxing in the hut the whole time.
The hut is not big enough for you to shadow box inside without at least.
But I go in and out of it, so
striking
I assume like my fists are just going like outside of it and then coming back in, and then
I mean, that's honestly fair for now. You're not really in any fear of being attacked, so I suppose that's fine. At any rate, you guys all wake up at more or less the same time, mostly because the light just kind of snaps back on. It is morning. Gorbik, you notice Gorbik was up before you, Lazarus, even before the day began, and has snuffed all the candles on his way out. So as you awake, there's just kind of that remnant of the sweet smell. As for the rest of you that are outside, as you all kind of begin stirring, Gorbik just gives you kind of a curt nod and proceeds about his business. Lazarus gives a big stretch. Nothing, no chainmail guy dis. I see you looking around.
well, and
There's-
for wolves like trap. Well,
There
not
are
tracks.
also-
I wouldn't see any tracks, but
There are also no wolves.
I like that
nothing.
honesty.
And-
I would not see any tracks.
That's right. I do not see tracks.
I am not a
Definitely
survival expert.
And best of all, there are definitely no chainmailed wolves. So, I mean, there's definitely that as a good
Oh,
sign.
there's a fun
Oh,
part.
there's a nightmare.
Oh, that scares you, does it? I'll just make a note of that. Okay, so you guys are awake. Honestly, other than talking to Peter, this quest is basically done. Although Kenna does still have to go get her lamb as well. Or not her lamb, her goat, sorry. Now, the Simpsons thing, I'm just imagining it as this little lamb now.
Would you have told us about the goat you picked?
Oh, I'm sure I didn't shut up about it.
Probably been talking about it incessantly.
Talked
Did you
initially
say goat a
about
name?
Lazarus is in the house.
I do have a name in mind. Yes.
Okay. Do you go get the little goat first to bring it back to them before you name it?
Yeah. Well, no, I go talk to the goat first.
Okay. Kenna disappears back into the field of goats, like a nomad disappearing into the wilderness. And it doesn't take you all that long to find the goat. It's not hiding or anything.
Good morning.
And just once again, just seems, for whatever reason, incapable of responding, but it does seem to definitely understand you, and it just kind of gives you a nod.
First, am I able to check if you're a boy or a girl?
Kind of like, it definitely gives you one of those, like, and I mean, its eyes are enormous, so this probably looks weird, but it does give you, like, one raised eyebrow. Like, what you talk about? But it doesn't make any move to stop you. It just doesn't seem to know what's going to be involved in that.
I just look underneath the goat.
Okay, you just get, like,
Yeah.
Kenna gets a little dirty, but, you know, I mean, they're literally crap everywhere, so
Yeah.
you're just not really avoiding it. It is a female goat.
Perfect. So then I ask it. So I need to call you something. I just can't call you goat. That just doesn't work.
Kind of doesn't really seem to understand, but nods anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Is it okay if I call you Kit?
You kind of like, doesn't seem to have any objection.
Perfect.
Okay,
I'm gonna pick you up now. We're gonna go on an adventure.
all right. You pick up the little goat kit, and yeah, like I said, it's literally like purse-sized, so you can easily just kind of into the backpack, and it'll just stick its little goat head out and kind of like peer around while you're walking. Yeah, so Kenna comes back with this little goat head, like, and I do mean little. Like, it doesn't, like, it's a small goat.
Go away, little guy.
Oh my, isn't this a gem?
Isn't she just the cutest little thing you've ever seen?
It really is Nim-sized. Like, even to Nim, it only comes up, like, less than halfway.
Well, them's 3'6", so if it's like 6.
Oh,
or
yeah,
7
it's actually,
inches,
it's
like,
even smaller than that.
It's like up to my shin.
Yeah, it's pretty small. It's just a little wee goat.
My God.
It's in my backpack.
Nim feels like a monster.
Backpack goat.
This is Kit.
Hello, kid.
Well, shall we show your choice to Gorvik then?
Oh yeah, I guess we gotta do that.
Okay. You walk up, even as you kind of approach, Gorbik kind of like looks and goes, one of the little ones. Alright, that's fine.
I figured she wasn't making too much shit anyways.
Not making much of nothing.
That's alright, I'll take care of her.
Alright then, you all on your way?
We are.
We are.
So 35 silver.
You tell Peter he's got his delivery.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
It has been our pleasure.
It's good doing business with you.
And thanks for Kit.
I feel like that's just as...
he's just ready for the conversation to be over. He's an old man.
I suppose we go on them, okay?
Okay, so you guys are heading back to Peter then, I would imagine?
Yeah.
You still
Yes,
got to
we
sort out
are.
that druid magic with him as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I'm about to spend a lot of time with Mr. Peter.
Oh dear.
Wow, sounds like the beginning of a rom-com right now.
She
Just-
only needed 8 hours, but she took 8 hours and 30 minutes.
A beautiful woman walked out of the farmland with a tiny goat in her backpack. And that's when he knew.
This was it.
Pop song.
But he didn't want to have anything to do with somebody that carried a goat in their backpack. That's just weird.
He's gonna love my goat.
I guarantee it. Okay, yeah, I mean, you guys are heading on your way back to Peter. Anything that you guys need to talk about on the way? It is a decent walk.
So you mentioned rewards for beasts from the incursion. Who would we
Yes,
get the
you did
reward
get
from?
details.
Lil.
Oh, Lil.
Lilwood.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay. That's good. This is very... And you did grab the tails before you were on your way out. We made sure of that. Yeah, so you continue on your way towards Peter's farm. And as you come into view of the farm, Peter seems to be kind of doing his rounds. Farmers are always busy. But yeah, he does take a moment, wipes the sweat from his brow, turns around, and seems to kind of have noticed your approach and just gives you a, "Oh, howdy, y'all!"
What's he wearing?
Overalls, no shirt.
Hello, Mr. Harvester.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah, howdy! How y'all doing?
We are doing rather well.
I assume since y'all came back to me that you got something for me?
Oh, we got a deal for you.
Really? Marriage already?
No, oh my gosh, calm down.
He just laughs and kind of, I'm just fooling with you. So you got my shit, right?
Yeah, for 35 silver.
Oh, man. You guys are great.
That is enough for your 4 fields for 35 per month, as agreed.
Oh, man, you bet. You bet. That's great. That's good shit. No pun intended, of course.
Now there's just the other matter of the druidic magic that one Kenna was going to provide.
Right. I believe I remember you saying that to me. She was going to do some sort of magicalness in the fields. It doesn't involve the little goat, does it?
No.
No.
Well, this kit.
I just hate to see a little thing harmed for the use of whatever magics.
Nothing will ever hurt Kit.
No, we don't perform blood magic in this party.
All right, well, you just making sure. I ain't know none up on how it all gets down and such.
We got her from Gorbeck.
Sacrifice magic.
No,
Oh, Gorba gave you a little go.
yeah.
Well, you know. Just kind of nods. he's got no particular comment. He's just kind of like, oh, all right.
So am I starting this today?
I mean, it's probably
Are
like 10 a.m., so
are you
if
guys
you want to
getting-
start it today, you
And are
probably
you guys
could.
going to continue on to the ruins while I druidic?
I think we go get some rewards from Lil.
Well, that ain't gonna take 8 hours.
That's not going to take long.
But we can check around the town, see if anybody else has problems.
Mm.
I know
I
we
think
probably
you-
don't want to go to the shrine.
I think you guys should go to the ruins.
Maybe just scout them.
Mr. Harvester.
Yeah. Please, Peter.
Peter.
Mr. Harvester was, well, not even my father, really.
What do you mean by that?
He's more of a drifter.
Milkman?
Oh, we don't have much milk out here, but I get your meaning.
It has come to Lazarus' attention that some of the local hands may be interested in knowing that we will be putting efforts towards providing Father Maxey a church sometime soon.
Well, shit! A place to prayer! Well, ain't that fancy.
The farmers so far had indicated they would like to help, so just so that you are aware if you wish to come along.
Well, Peter can probably give you a hand, but probably just in town. I can't stay away from the fields too long. Otherwise, animals and such get into it.
That is fair. We will need people to work on the blocks as we bring them in.
Alright, you all doing your magicalness now?
Well, I can start it now, but it's going to take more than one day.
Oh, alright.
Well, I think. Can I look at the field and see how long I think it would take me to?
Sure. What's the distance the magic can cover?
I think the
Oh, I think it drops.
I think the radius is a mile.
Can you grab it?
Sorry, what?
It's
think there's something by your
150 feet.
No, that's the one version. The other one's bigger.
100-foot radius.
No,
Yes.
it's like a half mile. Half mile radius.
Okay.
So
Yes, half a mile radius.
Half
That's a
a
lot.
mile. So 500 feet.
Yeah, so
Is that radius?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that covers
500
a
foot
mile.
radius, so a mile diameter. No, you could probably cover all 4 fields with that. And
Oh,
these are just little farm. We're not talking like, out in the prairies farmers with like acres and acres.
That's the only kind of farm I know.
Plus, it's just corn. He ain't got no machines or nothing to help him. So anything more than that would be insane.
I think y'all should head on to the ruins and check that all out, and I will do this for the day.
What if we get attacked and we don't have our heal? It's gonna be dangerous.
You guys got some potions, don't you?
we can just get out of there.
All right. Well, I mean,
I
Let's
think-
retreat and
I think
tend
the
to
four
most
of you
first
guys are-
aid.
3 of you guys are all right.
I think we can do that then. Everybody's agreed.
When you return, then you may perhaps find us on the site if we're here. Otherwise, we may be at the ruin or the inn.
Well, if you're not at the site, then I'll just meet you at the inn.
That would be best.
Alright.
Okay. So the 3 of you set out for town. Just as you're exiting the auditory radius of Peter's farm, you catch the offhanded comment, "Now tell me, does this ritual magic, does that require any dancing?" You just catch that tail end of that.
Oh, God.
As you walk down the... Peter has a certain type of magic in mind.
Naked dancing magic?
I don't believe Peter mentioned being naked.
It's Peter's
He's
specialty.
thinking so.
But I mean, he's like low 20s, so... Whoa now. Okay, so in the meantime, obviously we know what Kenna will be doing. The specifics of how that all shake down will maybe give her some time to think about how deep she wants to go down this rabbit hole.
Depends on how deep he goes down.
And that's that mature content filter man put on there. I'm sorry, youngins, ask your parents. In the meantime, I guess we'll deal with the 3 of you wandering to town. It's obviously not too far as you walk. I mean, if you want to do anything on the walk, you can, but I would just assume you'll kind of whoop to town.
Yeah, we've made
Probably
this
just
trip a
slow
few
walking.
times.
Yeah, you're pretty familiar with it. As you approach town is fairly quiet this morning. Everybody kind of seems to have gone about their business. It is approaching, or at least your general understanding of time, it's probably like 11, maybe just a little after that. But there's not a lot of people around. People seem pretty busy today. I guess, are you going to go talk to Lil first, or?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I've got the 2 tails, too.
Yeah, Lil is definitely inside, just like she usually is.
Wait, did we get Peter to do anything with the paper?
No, you haven't. You left that with Kenna.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
Since the deal's not done yet.
Oh, right. The magic's part of the deal.
Or, well, part of the deal you guys pitched. It wasn't part of the initial deal.
No, but we're trying to pitch for more brownie points.
I thought you were going to
Extra
say we were
experience.
pitching woo. It's going to be like, whoa.
I think we've done better at winning favor than we've ever done
Yeah.
at winning favor. So
It's true. You guys are rock solid right now.
Gotta, go a little bit towards the darker side. So all that steals me stuff.
This is just like, we got to like steal something, man. I feel weird.
Balance out the karma.
Okay.
We're too good.
Yeah, you guys approach the tavern. As you walk inside, Lil gives you a little nod.
Hello, Lil.
Morning.
We had a question for you.
Certainly.
Well, not really a question so much as we found some wild incursion beasts.
I had heard.
2 wolves that we have tails from, I think Lazarus has.
All right. And I imagined you'd like to turn those in, would you?
Well, we were wondering how much we could get for these 2.
Describe the beast to me again. Sorry.
Very large, unnatural wolves, large green orb of eyes, some ability to blink about.
Oh, the teleporting variety. All right. Well, the teleporting dire wolves will, let's see, you've got the 2 tails, so that's 2 kills. That'll be 5 gold.
just gonna put that in the guild bank.
Sounds
Group
like
bank?
I want to insight and see if she's shorting us.
Sure, go ahead.
this is
Five gold total or 5 gold apiece?
5 gold total.
so we got 1 night.
Yeah. 1 night for 1 person.
13.
Okay. So you don't get the impression that she's shorting you, but you did notice that, like, she was kind of maybe a little bit more nervous when you were talking about wolves at first. But then when Lazarus said they were the teleporting variety, she kind of went, oh, okay, just those.
Out of curiosity,
Yes.
I noticed you were a bit uncomfortable when we were starting to talk about wolves. I was wondering if maybe there was something we avoided that could potentially come through these portals. Type of wolf that might be worse?
Well, all sorts of beasts come through the incursions that we're aware of. There are several types of wolves, yes. The variety you encountered, I would imagine, was kind of green-tinged and kind of hopped around a bit from place to place. Those tend to be the smallest variety that we encounter. So just I had been mildly more worried for you had you encountered one of the ones bathed in green flame, or the ones that seem to pop up out of the ground. Those ones
Speaking
tend to be
of pop up,
bigger.
bathing in green flame, I'm sure Lazarus' eyebrows just shot up.
And like,
Those sound
Anything
very
that has to
safe.
deal with fire, Lazarus is like,
Wait, you have burrowing wolves?
not so much burrowing. They sort of pop up out of the ground.
Zombie wolves.
Perhaps,
No. Like they are a part of the ground.
Perhaps more like those snakes we encountered.
Snake.
She
Yes,
just, like, she kind of nods, like, sure.
Wolves.
Now, is there... With this... So there was a wobbly feeling around the portal. We've heard that there was a wobbly feeling around the ruins that we want to excavate stone from. Is wobbly, or the wobbly feeling that we felt, is that common around these portals? Can we expect something similar?
I've heard that some portals feel wobbly. Sometimes places feel wobbly even without a portal. Things just get sort of thin there, and stuff comes through, but not a full portal that needs to be closed, so to speak. Also, some portals don't feel wobbly, especially the larger ones.
Now, I have one more question. Do we get extra credit for closing the portal?
Well, if you manage to close it, yes, there's always a bounty for closing the portal.
Well then, we can happily report that this one at least appears to be closed.
Did you pick up the portal stone?
I feel like there was a detail we had missed.
No, nobody checked for anything like that when you guys were done. She kind of like, you see her, everybody roll luck. Go ahead. 8. 1.
18.
Okay. Nim kind of, she kind of like looks at Lazarus and Dis, and she kind of gives you one of those like, oh, I'm sorry sort of looks. And then she looks over at Nim, and Nim is giving that like, oh, please, can't we? Like, he looks so sad and just so pathetic for a minute. And she just kind of, well, all right, I suppose I can take your word for this one, but we really will need proof next time.
Very well. What can we expect?
It'll just be, most times when a portal forms, it forms around an object. Most times we find those are small stones. It just seems to be how the energy collects. You'll definitely recognize them. They're pretty hard to miss.
Well, we did miss one.
Well, to be fair, I didn't warn you to look for it.
Is there any value in these stones other than rewards?
Perhaps someone that knows more about magic might know more about that than I do. To be honest, I haven't heard of anybody offering a specific bounty for them. They're not overly hard to come by. We do have incursions fairly regularly. It's one of the things the Adventuring Guild takes care of on a regular basis.
And what was the bounty for the portal?
Oh, yes, sorry. So for closing the portal, that'll be 100 gold.
Now
I'm
that
just adding this
seems
to the guild
somewhat
bank.
more sustainable.
Group bank, I guess I should say.
Lazarus just read out the comment.
That like doubled our bank.
Which, I mean, they're charging you 5 gold a night per person. So, I mean, 100 gold is a lot, but not actually as much if you think
No, but
about it.
we need to find like one every 2 weeks.
Basically.
minimum.
Well, assuming
Actually,
that the
at least.
bigger portals will give us more.
Yeah, but we can also rank up and then we'll start making more money per mission. Sure.
Is there any sort of commonality with the portals? Like, is it on this rung, there's only going to be small portals if they do appear, or can it be completely random? Like, can we walk out and there's a large portal with zombie dog or snake dogs? Snake wolves.
Most large portals take a significant amount of time to form, so we do tend to have more advanced warning that they're coming, and the primary goal then is to shut them down before they begin. Small ones are common on almost every rung. It's just one of the things we have to deal with. But certainly it's not uncommon. We have had a large portal open on this rung before, although as far as I know, there's been no activity. We tend to get warnings from the Mages Guild and that sort of thing when they detect that sort of thing ahead of time.
That makes sense.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Well, until Kenna returns, we won't be able to claim in the other one. The business we have finished, so we suppose we shall continue on and investigate the ruin.
All right.
Thank you, then, for your time.
Not at all. Please feel free to return when you need to.
Thanks, Lil.
Perhaps a quick bite, then, before we go.
And alcohol.
Ah, lunch. Please, as always, the meal is covered, since you technically work under me, but I will need 1 silver each for the booze.
I have to break one.
Here, Nim will just bust out the guild bank and
Yes.
pay for 3 drinks. Don't worry about it.
Did you have 3 silver?
Oh, I have 899 silvers.
That's right, because we had to crack the perfect 900.
So I'm just going to keep winding that down until we're at 800, so...
Okay.
So we got a lot of booze.
A lot of drinking.
Not in one sitting, I hope.
That sounds like a
Nim
challenge.
can't handle that much. He's a gnome.
We just have to give him a very tiny straw.
Maybe Kit's a heavyweight.
Wait,
Well, Kit's not here, though.
This is true. We don't have Kenna either, who can also be a heavyweight.
Are we
But
ordering this from Lil?
Yeah.
You deserve the biggest. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Can I like take Lil aside and be like, can you just give Dis water? He kind of has a problem. I'll make sure he doesn't know though.
She's just sort of, oh, I'm terribly sorry to hear that. Of course, of course.
Yeah, no, he likes to pretend, but he's too shy to ask, so.
I can totally do that. That's understandable. To make sure that he can't tell, we probably should keep the 1 silver as well.
Oh, for sure. I'm all in on the deception.
She sold it and got some deal out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, Lil's no fool. Lil's like, you're gonna pay me 1 silver for that water. It's really the price of silence.
Yep, that's fine. So as soon as she shows back up with, like, as it's on the tray within, I just prestidigitation.
The booze.
I make it taste just like the beer I had the other night.
Of course, of course.
The one that you changed mine to taste like water in?
Yeah, so your beer is going to
The
be
original
water.
beer flavor, like before he had changed it out.
But did I ever taste?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you drank
yeah,
about half.
he did it.
Oh,
He did it like
you
halfway
tricked
through.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
They made it taste
So
like
yeah, it'll
water.
taste like booze to you. It just won't.
Really? I
Just
thought it
won't
would
make you
taste like
drunk.
water the whole time. Otherwise, it would have been kind of weird to have water halfway through.
No, because he did it on purpose to mess with you. Like, you drank booze, and
was
then
just
he
like
made
water.
it taste like water, and you were like, "Oh wow, this is suddenly going down way easier." Okay, so yeah, I mean, like, honestly, unless you think Dis would have, I don't really see any reason for you to. Yeah, so you just drink that water, man. Yeah, just chug that water back.
This is great.
Okay,
Feeling
well,
blessed.
so you guys are obviously going to have lunch. Kenna, is there anything that you want to do during your 8 hours of casting in particular, or just kind of, communing with the plants and
There's
such?
really nothing I can do.
You just do the ritual. How are you performing the ritual this time? I know it's kind of been different each time you do it.
Oh no, I think I'm gonna do my whole meditative, just sit there and focus on the corn growing.
Okay.
But every now and then open my eye to check on Kit, make sure she's good.
Okay. So yeah, you sit there and you begin casting your Druidic plant growth, which, if I'm not mistaken, after 8 hours will basically increase their yield for, what is it, a year
Whole
straight?
year.
Yeah.
Double their yield.
Yeah, double their
Yeah.
yield for a whole year. So while you're working on that, the leaves in the area begin to rustle and all that. You get kind of the usual druid magic around you. Kit's just running around in between the corn, trying to play like it's a corn maze.
Oh, she's so cute.
Just kind of zipping around. And Peter, for his part, kind of was watching a little bit in the beginning just to kind of see what was going on. But after it kind of became obvious that,
There's no
nothing he
dancing.
can physically see is happening, he just kind of went about his day.
Because I wasn't dancing, guys.
Well, you can't win everything.
I want to see your curves.
Something like that.
So I guess in the meantime, we will jump back to you guys. You've had your lunch. You're nice and full up, and two of you are not drunk, but you've got that, you've had your big glass. You've got a little tipsy, and I'm sure Dis is either thinking he's a tank or trying to fake it just for, like, his own... It's up to you.
I just assume I was acting like I was buzzed at first. Oh, this is great. This is great, guys. And then eventually I'm just like, I think I feel the same. This is so weird.
Dis's tolerance has gone up. That's the problem.
Nim
Yeah,
just
he probably wouldn't assume
avoids the question at all costs. Like,
Of course.
if this is like, do you feel anything? Nim's just like, oh yeah, man. Like, isn't this just such a wonderful time? Just being here. I completely just change the subject every time.
All right. And in that manner, lunch passes. Rather uneventfully, outside of the horrible deception. I guess if you guys are ready to move on to the ruins, you can if you like.
Let's go.
To the ruins!
Okay. So you begin setting out. You've been given a general direction by Father Maxey, and you set off in that direction. How are you guys traveling through? It's mostly fields with farmhouses like you've been traveling through already. A fairly calm, peaceful area.
I feel like Lazarus, Nim, Dis.
Okay. So, as you continue through your travels, not much changes in the overall environment. This has definitely been set up as a farming area, and much like a lot of really large-scale farming environments, they've definitely done their work to kind of make it uniform. A lot of the trees have been brought down, that sort of stuff. So there's not a whole lot to look at as you traverse down the road. After a little while, as you begin to get closer to where you've been told these ruins are, the road gets, steadily less and less well put together. Less gravel, less maintained grass starts to show through it. As you continue, it even devolves past that into almost like a dirt trail. Like, you're definitely going past where the general population walks. As you continue your move, you estimate, because again, time is a little hard for you guys here so far, you're not quite used to it yet. You think you're about 30 minutes away, give or take, when you encounter a fence that's been dressed directly across this almost bare dirt path that you're following now. And over that fence, someone has painted onto the fence, warning, do not cross.
Wow.
Well, that's curious.
Sounds like a challenge.
You get him, Dis. You get that fence.
Lazarus, were you saying something?
Almost. Is this more of a warning for the general populace, do you think? Regardless, we've been asked to go past, and known people have gone past before.
Well, I mean, is this like a gate? Can we open this, or is this like a fence?
It's not a serious fence. There is no gate, but it's kind of like a crappy, quickly put together farmer's fence. There's the posts, and just somebody's cut logs into sections and just done it across. It's just a very brief farming fence. It's not like a serious barrier.
I want to look at the ground for tracks going up to the fence, passing it.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, do a survival check.
In the meantime, does it look like how many posts are involved in it?
Maybe 1, 2, 3, 6.
So it's not like something we can just...
No, but it's not a barrier. It's literally only about up to your waist, and it's not solid. It's just got the two horizontal, so you could step under or through it very easily as well. It's not meant to physically stop you. It just seems to be more of a warning.
14.
Okay, so you take a look. There's not a lot of tracks in this area, period. Just the trail's not that well used by the look of it, and it doesn't really seem all that clear that people come through here all that often. It doesn't look like nobody comes through. I mean, the path has been worn, so somebody comes through here. On the other side of the fence, the path is less worn. So definitely more people turn away than continue. But it's not like nobody continues. It definitely looks like the trail continues.
So Lazarus steps over it.
Okay.
Nim kind of just like goes through it because I'm sure there's.
Roll a dex save. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a fence. You guys step through fine. It's the fence boss. It begins. No, you guys step through. Nothing happens. Yeah, no horrible traps. It's just, it's just a fence. Dis, do you step through as well?
Yeah, I'll step through.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
So yeah, you're all on the other side of the fence. Nothing seems to have really changed. Honestly, all in all, the fence seems to have been a little...
What's our general surroundings here? We're very open still?
It's fairly open grassland, but continuing in the direction that you're going, it does appear to get a little more hilly in that direction. Not significantly, but just a little.
Okay.
Just enough to kind of block your sight line more than anything else. Yeah, it's not uniformly flat here, but it is more flat than not.
Well, shall we proceed a bit further?
Indeed.
Let's go.
Okay. You guys begin forward. You know, or at least you figure you've got about 30 minutes or so, give or take. How close... Do you want to stop the first time you see these ruins and kind of get a general view from there, or something like that?
I want to go...
I probably would, whatever, point we get to where it feels like it'd be worthwhile for Nim to sit down or just cast Detect Magic.
Okay, so not necessarily when you first see it, maybe wait until you're within an appreciable distance of it.
We should wait until we have the wobbly feeling.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Once I get the wobbly feeling, if
But
at all.
I suppose Lazarus is going to be scanning because he knows things can come through the damn things.
Certainly, yeah. Okay, do a perception check and you guys will continue on.
14.
Okay. Nothing, I mean, as you kind of proceed, you are the first one to spot the ruins themselves. As you crest that kind of first hill that you saw, down in the valley that hill creates on the other side of it, is what appear to be the ruins. And ruins is perhaps a bit too general of a description. It almost looks to you, especially because you're kind of above it, that at one time this might have been a fortification of some kind. You can kind of clearly see a walled structure, not quite a square, but some sort of it's a wall. There's definitely the seated remnants of a kind of bottom layer of a wall. And then inside of that, there does seem to be littler squares inside, like buildings or something was inside of this. At some time, it might have been a fairly significant structure, but all that remains are basically the bedrock stones, just that very bottom layer of each building. So there's the big square-ish fort shape, and then about 5 smaller ones in the center. From that visual point, nothing really seems out of place. You don't feel anything yet.
Alrighty.
I guess we approach.
Yeah.
Sure.
Going down the hill.
There does seem to be a fair amount of stones there as well. Definitely, if you pulled up every stone and put it into a building, you'd get a decent-sized building out of it. Okay. You guys continue forward, waiting for that moment when things start to feel a little funny. It doesn't take too long. You get about halfway down the hill towards it. You'd estimate you're a good, say, 500 feet away yet. So not insurmountable distance due to the height that you can see it from. And that's when you get the first feelings. It's not like the portal per se. There is a wobbly feeling, but not in the same way. You don't feel like things around you are getting unsteady or less there. More, you feel it in the pit of your stomach. Kind of a queasy, nauseous feeling directly inside you, rather than from the environment itself.
Lazarus something like that.
Nim will detect magic
Okay.
since he has it equipped now, so
Woohoo! Instant detect magic.
no dancing around for 10 minutes. Of course.
Oh, Peter would have loved to watch you dance.
Throw some winks down at Peter, too.
That's right. Nobody asked Peter what he was into. Anyway.
Well, that was obvious.
True. I suppose he didn't hide it too much, did he? Okay, so your eyes cloud over with that white as you detect magic. There is definitely, there's magic here, just like there has been the whole time in the Stronghold.
It doesn't seem to get more concentrated the closer you look towards the ruins. Definitely not like the portal. The portal, it was obvious. Like, you could really see the magic peeling out of that thing. It does seem to be a little more concentrated towards the ruins, but not to the same degree. Like, maybe 10% more, 20% more. Pretty minor.
Okay. Could this be maybe one of those areas that Lil was talking about then? That's like not necessarily a portal, but just like a thinner area. I guess I tell everybody
Yes.
this.
It's, from your own knowledge, it would be tough to say. It's not an impossible logic leap to make. There's no portal here, but you do still feel funny.
Lazarus does not feel easy, but he cannot sense further unless we're closer.
I want to get, I want to continue on to the point where I'm actually like able to touch one of the stones.
Okay. Everybody's going with them?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys approach, as you get to within about 30 feet of the stones, movement does catch your eye. Whoever's in front, which I believe was Lazarus. Lazarus, as you approach 30 feet, you do notice some movement in the ruins. And as you kind of take a moment to look, you kind of pop up a little bit and take a look. You notice there does seem to be a lot of animals moving around the ruins. Squirrels, rabbits, groundhogs, all small, furry creatures. A couple of slightly larger ones, like big hares, that sort of thing. Just quite a few of them. Like, it really does, the ruins do seem to be kind of alive with them.
There seems to be a lot of life here for how uneasy Lazarus feels.
Can I just do my ping down?
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
60 feet, see if I get anything.
Yeah, you ping out, and I guess I was going to say similar to the portal, but really the portal felt like everything else. It's just neutral here. There's no strong evil or strong good. It's just kind of nature.
I want to look at the animals, like any random animal there, and just look if there's anything off about them.
Sure. Do a perception check.
Passive is 15.
Okay. So Dis kind of takes a moment and he looks at the animals and he's really trying to pay attention to them just to see if there's anything, even just a little off about them. And as you kind of watch them, you're kind of watching them bound around and scurry, and you almost miss it. Everything looks pretty good, and there's just, like, as you're kind of leaning back a little bit to kind of tell the group that everything seems fine, something catches your eye, and you notice that some of the rabbits are moving a little funny, and then you kind of start checking the other ones a little closer, and you realize they're all kind of doing it. They're all moving around like they should. The rabbits are hopping, the squirrels are scurrying, but every once in a while, when something would normally be in their way, that they would bounce over or scurry over, instead they just kind of pop to the other side of it. So when they're out and about, they're fine. But, when a squirrel's running towards one of the wall stones, instead of climbing up on it and going over it, he just seems to kind of suddenly be on the other side of the wall.
And are they running around, like, right around us?
No,
We're not close
within
enough
the
yet.
stones. Yeah. Within the stones and just outside of them.
Is there like a small rock?
Yeah, I mean, it's a field, so there's, stuff
I
nearby.
just pick up a normal rock and not even like at them. I just kind of throw like a rock anywhere near, reasonably around an animal that would make them scurry a bit away from it and see if they react at all.
Okay, fair enough. Do an athletics check just to see, how accurate you are with where you want to put it.
18.
Okay, so I mean, you pick up the rock and you give it a kind of casual chuck towards one of the creatures. Not at it, just trying to spook it a little. It lands next to a squirrel about maybe 6 inches away from it or so. And it does spook it. You see it kind of pop and its tail puffs up and it kind of blinks about another 6 feet away from it. Like, it makes a big blink kind of out of nowhere. And as it stops, it looks over towards you. And as it turns to look at you, they all turn to look at you. Just kind of in unison. They're still a good, they're like 20, 30 feet away from you, but they're all staring at you now.
How closely grouped are they?
They're spread out all over the ruins, but there's a solid amount of them. So, I mean, there's a decent amount within, a certain range of each other.
Would you say there's a lot of them within a 40-foot diameter?
Well, I mean, certainly. Absolutely. On that note, as you kind of give them that little, like, hi wave, several of the ones that are closer to you kind of pop up onto their hind legs to kind of get a better view of you. And as they do, there starts to be kind of a low rumble that spreads through the crowd of them. And they all start making the same sound, where they're just kind of like... out of their little mouths.
I start backing the fuck up.
Okay, Lazarus begins retreating. As you do, that sound continues to kind of build and carry, and you notice the wind in the area is starting to kick up quite a bit.
What do?
I think we should bail.
We get the fuck out of here.
Let's
Let's bail.
The party of adventurers immediately crap themselves and just book
Wait,
the
how
opposite
close?
direction.
How close are
Can't do it
we?
without Kenna.
How close are we to the ruins at this very moment?
30 feet.
30 feet.
Yeah, we'll back up like another 30 feet.
Time for it.
I think I'm just gonna, as we're running, I think I'm just gonna turn around and chuck one.
Oh my god.
Because they freaked when they all looked at Lazarus. Nim was like, "Oh god."
They're various small animals.
Oh, various.
Yeah.
I thought I heard
That
just
are possessed.
No, squirrels,
Or
rabbits, and
various
other things.
Various
Marmosets,
Christ.
little gophers, that kind of stuff.
Well, maybe it's time to check out some
I
other
originally
ruins.
thought they
Now we're
were like
cooking with magic.
not actually in our world, but just bleeding in and looking like they were in our world from another place. So I was like, maybe this won't scare them.
Okay.
You agitated them.
you do appear to have agitated them.
So
almost
when we
certainly.
are, how wide was the ruins across?
Almost 130 feet. Like, it's actually, no, it's more than that. It's like almost 200 feet.
So theoretically,
Yeah.
if a fire
I
were to
love it when somebody says that.
if a fire were to start in the middle of the ruins,
How far can you cast Fireball?
150 feet.
150 feet in. Okay, so, I mean, you could get it pretty close to the middle.
If that were to happen, is there enough stone to kind of stop it from like indefinitely spreading, or would I just start a grass fire?
The stone walls are a couple feet wide, so there's the potential it would contain it, but there's nothing, they're not very tall. They're only a couple feet high. So, I mean, especially with the way that the wind is continuing to, even as you're running away, that sound continues to echo, and as it does, the wind is increasing in the area.
I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna play it safe and not chuck a fireball at the animals.
Dis looked crushed.
That was me as a player. I just wanted to see what would happen.
I know.
I think we all wanted to see
Sorry,
what happened.
Brennan the person was crushed. Wanted
On the other
so
part, I was
badly.
like, that's totally going to start a grass fire too.
So yeah, as you guys run away, I assume you're just basically going to run till you feel safe.
Well, Lazarus is doing the retreat, so he's like watching.
Oh, okay, you're doing like the backup.
I've got the
retreat.
half the shield at least out.
Okay. So, and the two of you are just running, or kind of sticking with him and kind of retreating in an orderly fashion?
Yeah, I'll retreat at a slower speed just so it doesn't fall behind either.
Yeah, and I'll be watching a direction, whichever direction's not being watched.
Okay. So as you guys retreat, as you get further and further away, that sound continues to kind of rise and build. And just as you're approaching about 100 to about 120 feet away, you do notice there's a split second where all the way around the ruins, you start to see the grass and the dirt start to kind of churn a little. Like you can see it starting to turn. But then as you step over that 120-foot line, the sound, they all just kind of... and it just all stops, and the wind dies right down, and everything kind of sloughs back into peace.
So we run for like another 20, 30 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you necessarily stop, like, right on the border.
That, when we stop. Holy shit.
Well, now that was interesting.
I gotta find out if it's still going on. I want to walk back.
Okay.
Just to the very, like, where I assumed the edge was, and just, like, I won't go any farther than, like, 40 feet back.
Stick your
But I'm just, yeah, basically trying to...
Okay, trying to see if there's like
a
a line.
Yeah.
As you kind of approach back, nothing, the creatures the animals are still moving. As you cross that and go another, say, like 20, 30 feet into that, they don't start up again.
I'll just, if nobody followed me, which I don't think anybody did, I'll just walk back to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't making any sound in there. It seemed to just like completely stop.
Weird.
Yeah, what the hell was that? They're like demonic.
Some kind of security system, maybe?
Not sure. Lazarus did not like all of them yelling at him.
There was like literally hundreds of them. So that sound, I mean, as good as I can make that sound, it was like layered on top of each other. And
Could you speak with them if we went back?
Lazarus could try, but they may not be normal.
I guess you did hear Kenna say she couldn't talk to the wolves too. So I guess that's a fair logic jump for you to make that they might not be.
I think we need Kenna here before we do any further investigation.
It feels like we might take some damage. I prefer to be healed.
Well, Lazarus can try approaching one more time in better circumstances than throwing a rock.
We could run up like a kid's game, run up and grab the stone and just book it.
Yeah, I guess we didn't each actually get close enough to touch a stone, did we?
No. Oh, I should say, too, the stone isn't particularly remarkable looking. It just kind of looks like a normal, like, grayish, slightly white, kind of like sandstone sedimentary mix. It's just kind of normal looking rock.
It's not like Lazarus has like the ability to feel out if there's anything like religious here.
I mean, you could do a religion check. Everybody has the capability to try to see if they feel anything of religious significance. It can be difficult if your character isn't particularly inclined in that direction.
It is an intelligence.
It is an intelligence check. Yes, absolutely.
I guess Lazarus would try to peer through his tiny mind and see if he can figure out if there's any sort of like desecration or angriness, divineness happening here, where like someone's mad about this used to be a temple and now it's ruins. So.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, give it a religion check.
You didn't see anything from magic.
17 minus 1 for 16.
Okay. You sit there for a while. Like, I mean, I know Lazarus is a religious person, and he'd be pretty dedicated to trying to figure this stuff out. So you all find Lazarus kind of sits down and seems to contemplate things for like 20 minutes or so. Like, he's really focused. When you kind of come out of your stupor, you don't necessarily get the feeling like the ruins themselves have been desecrated or anything that kind of obvious, but you do have this kind of vague notion that either the ruins or where they are now, it's not in the right place. Something feels like it's not in the right place to you. It's a very vague feeling. I really can't describe it to you more than that.
This whole place puzzles Lazarus a bit. Something does not feel like it is in place.
Just imagine Lazarus with this big lizard chin. He's just sitting there going,
That's why I'm doing
this. Yeah, I guess. What do you guys want to do?
Have you come up with any ideas?
What if we go back? We try to communicate with the being. We're just like, instead of throwing shit at it, we just go back and we're like, hello, we come in peace. Give us your stones.
Lazarus is not sure of that last part.
Maybe we offer something in return, like, give us the stones, or else.
Or else.
I am
This has the
100%
best ideas.
against this plan.
You don't want to talk to it? Or you don't like my bargaining, or you don't like talking to it?
No, I'm all for talking to it. I'm 100% against your plan.
My plan's going and talking to it, and bargaining.
Yeah, I didn't like the bargaining part.
But it was like a win-win for us.
Lazarus will go and see if his talking even works.
Right.
Well, I mean, back in the slave camp, I read a few religious texts, so I might know something, so maybe I should come along.
I talk to my god in person, so I'm probably pretty good too. I'll come along.
If you choose to, but Lazarus is leaving his hammer here.
Oh, you're going to approach unweaponed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess I'm not going to leave my spell focus anywhere, but I'll stow it so I'm not, like, ready to
Okay.
go.
Dis, are you removing any weaponry?
Not really, no.
Yeah, they didn't really feel like Dis to me. Okay, so you guys begin approaching again.
And Lazarus starts approaching.
How close do you get?
Lazarus to go, where were we, 20 feet from the wall?
20, 30 feet, yeah.
Okay, so I go back to 20, 30 feet in the wall.
Okay. As you approach a little further out, at about 40, you do get that feeling in your stomach. It's been there the whole time, like you didn't get far enough away to not feel it. But you do, how to describe it, kind of like there's a tremor in the ground. Like you feel like your stomach's bouncing a little bit more as you approach.
So more than last time we approached?
More than last time, definitely. Not enough for you to feel it with your body, just with your gut.
Okay, and I can visually see stuff still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, well, suppose now I'll just cast the Speak of Animals just in case.
Okay. So, as you cast Speak with Animals, you don't hear them in the sense that you understand what they're saying, but as soon as you cast Speak with Animals, you realize that even though you couldn't hear it approaching, that feeling in your gut is coming from a sound they're making. As soon as you cast Speak with Animals, it's kind of like you can hear into like the lower frequencies that normally you wouldn't be able to hear, and you do hear it kind of soft, just kind of purveying the area.
Okay, well, we have a source at least that makes them feel a bit better. I suppose I'll just... I'll go back to 30 feet where I was.
Kind of proceed that little bit further.
And then I suppose Lazarus will, I guess, pick one of the creatures that's nearby. That's whether it be a rabbit or a squirrel.
Yeah, it's... I roll a luck die. We'll just see what it is.
14.
It's a gopher.
And then be like, can this one understand what this one is saying?
So as you speak, they definitely appear to notice you, especially the one that you were particularly addressing. It kind of pops up and flips its head around, but none of the other ones do at this point. You just seem to have kind of been able to, but it doesn't speak to you, but it definitely seems to have understood you were attempting to communicate with it.
This one would like to open communication.
It doesn't really seem to react. It's not aggressive, it's not defensive, it just doesn't seem to react at all.
Are these stones being used?
Again, nothing.
Are we allowed to approach any closer?
Any question?
Yeah, it doesn't give a response, but as you say, like, can we approach closer, it does move further back from you, which does take it closer to the wall.
Moves away from you.
Yes, it moves away from you, closer to the ruins itself. Again, the other creatures don't seem to have particularly noticed you.
I kind of just turn around. Well, it's sort of working and sort of not working. Lazarus has the impression it understands, but no direct responses.
Did you touch the stone?
I have asked whether we're allowed to approach and whether allowed to take the stones, but it only seemed to move further away when I asked if we could come closer.
Well, let's just slowly approach and see what happens.
Lazarus will turn and sort of like reassert and be like, and then like approach calmly again another bit.
Are you all approaching together or just letting Lazarus go?
Probably approach.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll approach as well.
Okay. How close do you want to get?
I'll do another 10 feet.
Okay, so to a point where you're 10 feet away, maybe 15.
Yeah.
Okay. So you begin moving cautiously towards the ruins, and some of the creatures do seem to take note of you. But similar to the gopher, once they've taken note of you, they just sort of seem to be kind of receding back from you, giving you way, but not, kind of keeping a constant distance between you and them. But nevertheless, you are able to approach to within 10 feet of the walls, without triggering the same response.
trying to think of like something that. Fuck.
As an emissary to Eldaf, I will mean you no harm.
And then he will try to approach the last few and like try just calmly lifting the rock.
Okay. So, all of you continue to approach. As you continue to move towards the wall, the creatures are still kind of receding back from you. Some of them are staying up on top of the wall, kind of seem to be keeping a wary eye on you. But yeah, as you approach, they continue to recede back from you. A little further away, a little further away, a little further away, to the point where you're standing right in front of the wall. Some of the rocks are quite a bit larger, like even you would have a hard time lifting, but just off to your right, there is one that's more kind of double your hand size, so not impossible to lift, but it will be a heavy rock.
But then I will try to just pick it up to see if there's any response to what I'm doing.
Okay. You reach down, your hands cup under the rock, and you begin to rise it off the wall. And we're definitely ending there for today.
Okay.
Nice.
So I guess we'll find out what happens next time. Wow, what a cliffhanger. I wonder what's going to happen next time. Seriously, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in. If you liked what you heard, share us with your friends. If you hated what you heard, share us with your enemies. Seriously, though, like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll find out what happens to Double Doubles and Dragons next time.